Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Okay. So I think the first thing is just to sit up kind of straight in your chair. So if you want to maybe come a little bit closer to the edge of the chair, not all the way to the edge, but just so your back's not like slouching onto the chair so that you have like a taller spine and just think about your spine being nice and long and that your like your sits bones are rooting down into the chair. So you have like this connection to earth and you also have a connection to sky. Shoulders can gently fall away from the ears. You can even let your arms hang down if that works. Your arms hang down. Yeah, yeah. And then if it's comfortable for you, just closing your eyes for a moment. And arms can be by your side, or they can also be just resting in your lap or on your legs. And just close your eyes. And we're just going to take a few minutes to just notice. So, just noticing how your body feels sitting in the chair. There's no right or wrong answer, just noticing and noticing without judgment. If your knee is bothering you a little bit, or you feel like, oh, some tightness in my shoulder, well, it's just sending some love and some compassion to that part of your body. Really feel your feet both rooting into earth. Just notice your body, amazing, amazing body that we have, and send a little gratitude and love to your body in this very moment, just as it is. And then start to notice your breath. So just bring attention to the breath. And again, you don't need to change anything. You just notice what's happening with the breath in this moment. So, where do you feel the breath? Is it in your belly, your ribs, your chest? Just making a note to yourself where you're feeling your breath or noticing that the breath is flowing. Notice if your inhale is longer than your exhale, or the exhale is longer than the inhale, or maybe they're both equal length. So just checking in and noticing the breath, your beautiful breath. Notice if it's rough or smooth. Is the breath bumpy or smooth and easy and steady? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just observing with deep compassion for whatever you find. The beautiful breath that's the bridge between our body and our soul. Beautiful breath. And as you notice the breath, maybe start to invite it to come more into your belly. So imagine that you were almost like blowing up a balloon. So you're inhaling and the belly is starting to balloon out. So the belly button comes forward, the sides of your body go out to the side. Maybe you even feel the balloon a little bit in the back. And then when you exhale, just let the air go out of the balloon nice and slow and gentle. So it's just a very easy, gentle breath, just filling the belly. And this could be a little tricky. It might feel a little uncomfortable or a little different than what you're used to. So just take your time and just notice what you notice with the breath. And if you ever feel like you want to take a deeper breath into the upper part of your chest, you can do that. It's just that feels like you're not quite getting enough breath. You can do that. But just experiment with that belly breath. So what this breath is doing is it's really allowing your diaphragm to drop down. So the diaphragm goes up and down when we breathe. And a lot of times we get stuck breathing in the very, very top of our lungs. So when you were checking in, you might have noticed that your breath was way up high in your lungs, kind of almost near your collarbone. And we tend to get into that cycle of breath when we're in like a fight or flight mode. So when we're anxious or nervous or fearful, our breath can get shallow and can be way up at the top. So this belly breath with dropping the diaphragm down, it creates so much more space in the lungs. And it also signals to our nervous system that everything's okay. So it's like everything's okay. I don't have to run from a tiger. I'm safe, I'm comfortable. I'm just going to breathe into my belly for a while. And then you can release that breath and just let the breath go back to your normal breath. Just noticing any changes and or any shifts in your breath. Now let's let the eyes flutter open. So how did that belly breath feel? Did that feel okay, or was that um, unusual, or did it feel awkward to breathe into the belly?
I never have really done that before, but I'm
Okay.
reading the information that I'm receiving from pulmonary rehab, and
hmm
that's one of the things. So I have been practicing it.
Okay. It is a little tricky. It's just to get the feel for it. Um, I like to practice it sitting up and sometimes just having my one hand or both hands on my belly so that I can feel it going in and out. You can also practice it at night before you go to bed. And if you're laying on your back, you can kind of feel your back sinking in and coming up. So it takes practice to do that, but basically what you're doing is you're increasing your lung capacity when you're doing that. You're allowing that and you're strengthening your diaphragm, right? So your diaphragm, our diaphragm likes to feel stuck sometimes. So it's just like here and we're breathing up here and the diaphragm's not moving. What this does when you blow out your belly is it allows that diaphragm to drop down. So we're blowing out our belly, but really what we're doing is letting our diaphragm have space to drop down. In our society, we tend to tighten our belly all the time. So our belly is tight, 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 and that diaphragm can't move. It's just stuck there. So we can't breathe that much. So just relaxing your belly, just picturing like that belly relaxing like a soft baby's belly. And then, can you get the breath into the front and maybe even, if you have one hand on your back and one hand on your front, just picture like a balloon that you're trying to blow it up all the way around. So if you kind of close your eyes and just breathe into the belly again and just feeling the back relax, maybe your tailbone drops down a little bit. And you might feel a little bit of that hand moving in and out on the back as well. And that's a little tricky, but sometimes when you're laying down, you can feel it a little better. Okay, so opening eyes again. So, what I want to teach you is a three-part breath. So that's the first part of the three-part breath. The second part is we're going to fill like the midsection. So we filled the belly, and now we're going to just practice on just the midsection. So even if you take your hands kind of like L's and put them right, so your thumb is behind you and your fingers are just kind of resting on your ribs. And just breathing in and out here so that you can feel the lungs go in and out, in and out. Can you feel that movement a little bit? You close your
Yeah.
eyes, just feeling, and it might just be really tiny at first. And what this is doing, it's also strengthening the lungs, it's strengthening all those muscles around the lungs, and it's increasing your lung capacity. You just breathe into that middle section. Keep your belly relaxed, your jaw relaxes, your shoulders relax. And you're also kind of breathing out the front and the back too. So it's kind of like a platter or something that's in there that's expanding in all directions. So if you picture kind of like a little circle in the middle, kind of like right at like right below your sternum, and then that circle is kind of expanding. It's going out flat to the front, to the sides, to the back. So just nice, gentle breath. And you can take a little inhale and then maybe sip in a little more air, and then one more time, a little bit more air, just sipping it in, and then release it all out, just like you're letting the air out of a balloon. It goes all the way back down again. You can release your hands. How did that feel? Could you feel it expanding and contracting?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. So that's another way that you're increasing your lung capacity. So it's um, it's just getting all of that kind of loosened up in there. Our ribs sometimes are just so stationary; they don't like to move, so it just helps to kind of get that going and make it a little bit more elastic. And then the third part of the breath is getting your breath more up into the chest, kind of like your heart area, your chest. So if you just kind of your belly can still be soft, this can still be soft, but just being aware of the breath at the top part of your lungs. So just breathing in and out at the top part of your lungs. You can have your hand there kind of right underneath your collarbone
And you're
and just
breathing
feel
in and
the
out through your nose, correct?
through your nose. Yep, through your nose. So almost if you imagine that you're breathing in and out through your heart or the space a little bit above your heart, that there's just a place there that you can breathe in and out. And you're allowing the front part of your chest to come forward, but the back is also soft too, soft back, so that the breath can maybe expand out the back. So this part of the breath isn't going to be as big and full as your belly breath. We have less space at the top of our lungs, but there's also a lot of space there that sometimes doesn't get used. So you can release that breath. You can keep your eyes closed for a moment and just notice your breath. Notice if anything shifted since we first took our first breath together. Just notice what you notice in your lungs, in your body, and all those qualities of your breath that you checked in with in the beginning, rough or smooth, long, short, easy, steady, tight. Just noticing the breath. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes. So now we're going to put all three of those parts together. So it's a three-part breath. And this breath is to help expand the lungs, it's to help regulate the nervous system. So, like anytime you're feeling anxious or nervous or any of the emotions that come poking you throughout the day, you can do this breath and it kind of brings everything back to the present. And it also expands the lungs. So, um, normally in a day we use about 30% of our lung capacity. Like we don't use very much of it at all, and this really just helps to expand the lungs so you get more oxygen in all those little nooks and crannies in your lungs. Can be more free to get oxygen. So if you're just breathing up here, you're probably only getting like 20% of your lung capacity. Like you're not using a lot of your lungs. So this is going to like let you use a lot more of your lungs. So the way I like to practice it is just one hand on my belly and one hand on my chest. And we're just going to take a nice deep inhale through the nose to start with, and exhale through the mouth. Big inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth, maybe with a sigh. Let's do that one more time. Nice big inhale through the nose, and exhale with a sigh. Now, as you start to breathe this next breath, allow your belly to fill first. So the belly's going to fill, then the side body's going to fill, and then the breath is going to come all the way up to the collarbone. You get all the way up, your full capacity in your lungs, all filled. Then slowly start to pour it out. And you're going to pour it out from the bottom to the top. So you pour the pitcher, no, from the top to the bottom. You pour the pitcher out, your chest starts to go down first, then your ribs come in, and then your belly button comes in towards your spine. So you're getting all the air out. As soon as all the air is out, start your next breath. So inhaling the belly, inhaling the side body, the ribs, and then letting the breath float all the way up to the top. And do this at your own pace, Sandy. So I'm doing it at a pace, and it might be too fast for you. It might be too slow. So the idea is just fill, 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 and then exhale from the top, the middle, and the bottom, pulling that belly button in a bit, really kind of squeezing the ribs in, getting all the air out. So you're getting all that stale air out so that you can get more oxygenated blood in. And then let the belly get soft, the ribs soften all the way up to your chin, and pour the breath out from the top to the bottom. And begin again. Belly, ribs, all the way up. To find your own pace here, filling and emptying, being aware of how much air you're bringing in. Maybe you can sip a little more air in. Maybe you can gently squeeze, invite all the air to go out. Feeling that back body and the front body and the side body. And one more full breath in, full breath out. And then just let your hands come to your lap or your thighs. Keeping eyes closed, just check in with the breath and with your body. Notice what you feel. Notice what you notice. When you're ready, you can let the eyes flutter open. How was that? How did that feel?
Feel good.
Okay, good. Do you have any questions? Does it make sense? Can you feel filling the three different sections, the three different parts? Okay. So, I think doing that is going to be really, really helpful. Like, just anytime during the day. Like the thing I love about that breath, it doesn't matter where I am, I can do it. I can do it in the car. I can do it in a meeting. I can do it during a conversation. You always have your breath with you, and you can just be aware of just softening that belly, expanding, and noticing how much air you can get in. So that I think is one of the like it's just a really staple as far as in like in yoga and in breath work, and I think that one can really help. There's some things you can do before you start that breath, and I know we kind of jumped right into the breath, but just to kind of open things up, so you can, like, if you can, let your arms come down by your side, and then if it's comfortable for you, kind of inhaling them out in front of you, kind of keeping your shoulder blades down so your fingertips are out here, and then maybe let them go up overhead. So if it feels comfortable, take the one hand and just kind of gently hold the wrist of the other hand. Does that feel okay for you? I'm going to
Yes.
take a nice deep breath in here and then exhale to one side. So I want you to still feel both sits bones really rooted down. So your hips are really rooted down. And then breathe into the side body. So just imagine you can't breathe it all into this side of the lungs. Just breathe into this side and feel extension from your hips to your armpits all the way through the fingers. Beautiful, beautiful. So you're just breathing. Each inhale, you're kind of lengthening a little bit. And then the exhale, you're maybe melting over to the side a little bit more. Taking nice, long, steady breaths. We'll come back to the center, let the fingers go all the way up to the sky, and then slowly let them come back down to your sides and roll the shoulders a little bit. And just notice if you feel any difference between the two sides of your body. You may not, but sometimes this side really starts to feel a little bit more opened. And then we'll inhale the arms out and then all the way up. We'll hold the other wrist. Take a nice deep inhale, really lengthening the spine, lengthening the side body, and then exhale, and we're going to go over to the side. So feet are firmly on the earth, hips are both firmly on the earth. You're just feeling that extension from hip bone, armpit, elbow, all the way up to your wrists, and just breathe. Breathing into that side body. Beautiful breath. Awesome. Notice whether you feel the breath. You can release your shoulders, release your jaw if you're holding any tension there. And then we'll inhale all the way back up again, release the hands all the way back down with a nice big exhale. I'll just roll the shoulders. That feel okay?
Yeah, it feels good.
Good. So our spine moves in a couple different ways. One way is just straight up and down. The other way is we can do side to side like we just did. The other way is if you have your legs a little bit further apart so that you're kind of your legs are like at a V and maybe sitting a little bit, not against the back of your chair. Um, the nice tall spine. And then leading with the heart, we're going to inhale forward. So let your heart and your chin come forward. And then exhale, curve the spine and tuck your chin. Exhale all the air out, rounding your shoulders. So inhale, come forward. And then exhale back, round the chin, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhaling forward. So you're extending the spine in a way that really helps to bring some fluid to the spine. It warms up the whole spinal column so that the nerves can be nourished. And it's kind of loosening things up in your whole lung area too. So you might feel as we do this a few times, you might have a little bit more of a range of motion. So maybe you can come forward a little further, or maybe you kind of tuck that tailbone and really put a big C curve in your spine as you tuck in. So this is another one of those that you can do this in a lot of places. The car's a little tough, but it's pretty easy to do, even if you're sitting in a more comfy chair. Watching television or something, you can kind of come to the edge of the sofa, the edge of the chair, and do this. And you can stay sitting, but you can also do this standing up. And I'll just show you real quick what that looks like. So you can also do a standing. You can kind of, come and have hands on knees and you're doing the same thing. So you're leaning forward, taking that nice inhale and then curving the spine, tucking the chin, curving everything under. So you're just doing this. It's like a cat and cow in yoga. So you're sending the tailbone back. You have a little curve and then you can curve this way. So you can do this again, standing up. You can do it on your hands and knees too. But that feels good. So we've done 4 motions of the spine, really kind of 5. So lengthening the spine is a motion, either side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the other motions are twisting, a little twist. So we'll just take the right hand, put it on the left knee. The other hand can rest down or can be on your hip, whatever. And then lengthen the spine. So we have a really, really tall spine on the inhale. And then exhale, just twist a little bit to the side. So both feet are still on the earth. You're just kind of looking to the left side, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing the jaw. Your chin can kind of track back so you can maybe look over your back shoulder. So maybe look over that left shoulder. You can also keep the twist and just let your chin come around and look over your front shoulder. So you can just look over this shoulder. Yeah. And then come back to center. And we'll just release the twist back to center. Beautiful. And then let's try the other side. So the other hand comes on the outside of the knee. This arm is just relaxed. Inhaling, lengthening, and then exhale, just twisting. So you're sending that right shoulder back, the left shoulder forward, kind of feeling the twist in the back, in the mid back, not so much your low back. And then with each exhale, you're lengthening the spine a little further. With each inhale, lengthening the spine. With each exhale, maybe relaxing in and maybe just twisting a little micro movement further. That chin can look out over your back shoulder, or it can come around and you can look over the front shoulder. Either way is a really nice twist. And neck can come back to neutral, and then let's come back to the center. So that series, if you do that, you're really nourishing your spine. So, our spine is just so important to everything that we do and nourish our nerves and everything. It's good for our posture. It's just good for having more space in the lungs, right? So if we tend to hunch forward. If you're working on the computer, if you're just sitting, you're like hunching, and when we do that, we have like less and less and less room for our spine. So if we're sitting up tall and we're having space in our armpits, we have a lot more room for our breathing. So, the other thing I wanted to do today is practice movement with that three-part breath. Okay, so we can do this in the chair, and you can also do it standing, and it's called the breath of joy. So this is my yoga students' very favorite breath. If we get to the end of the class and they haven't done, and we haven't done, they're like, "What about the breath of joy?" So I thought this would be a fun one for us to do together. So we're going to remember those three inhales. So inhale the belly, inhale the side, inhale all the way up. And we're going to do some movement with that. So we're going to start, we're going to inhale, fill the belly, let the hands come out front. Inhale again, fill the side body. So you're opening up in here, filling the side body. Inhale again, up overhead and fill this part all the way up here. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth and let it all go, pouring it out. Exhale. So inhale belly, inhale side body, inhale all the way up to the top of the clavicle, and then exhale through the mouth. And you can even make a little ha, like a ha sound when you exhale. And sometimes that feels good. You're just letting it all out. So inhale, 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 and let it all out. Hmm. Beautiful. We'll do one more. Exhale, let it all go. Oh, yay.
Nice.
How does that feel?
Good. Relaxing
Sometimes
too.
it makes your like fingers tingly, your nose tingly. You'll
Yeah.
feel good. I'm gonna turn off our recording so you have a nice little, like about a half an hour practice. Let's stop that.